Hello, I am Amber Meyer, and I am a soul purpose alignment coach as well as an intuitive development coach. And thank you for joining me today on this little mini training about your third eye and crown chakras. I love working with the energy body, and I find that there's just so many things you can learn about yourself and others through the energy body and what's functioning well, maybe what is blocked. And I also find with intuitive development, it's really important for us to pay attention to having a clear and open and healthy energy body so energy can flow through us in ease and flow, so we can really tap into our intuitive senses. And so far in this series, we have talked about all sorts of things about your energy body. We really started with the basics, and we started talking about your aura and your chakras and your meridians and how they all work together. And then we've been going through each chakra as we go. We've talked about the importance of grounding. We've done little mini trainings on your root chakra, sacral, solar plexus, heart, and throat. And then we followed it up with healings with your angels for each one of them. And so today, again, we are on to the third eye and the crown chakras. And so you'll learn a little bit about the functions of those chakras and some signs that you're either in balance or you're out. And then our next little get together, we'll be bringing the angels in, and I'll have a healing meditation for you that is around your third eye and your crown. And so if you've missed any of these trainings, don't worry if you didn't catch them live. There are 2 different places that you can catch them. And one of them is right here on the Awakened and Aligned community page on Facebook. You can just go into the media files and find all the videos there. I also have recently started a YouTube channel, and I'm also putting all of the recorded videos on YouTube in case that's easier for you to get them there. And if you have joined me, say hi. I'd love to see who's here with me. And we'll go ahead and jump in and start talking about your third eye first. And so your third eye chakra is often called your 6th chakra as well. And so this is right in the middle of your forehead, like you would have a third eye physically. And the color for this chakra is that it typically shows up as indigo. Oh, hey, Jody. Good to see you. Thanks for saying hi to me. Oh, Kathleen, you're here too. Hello, hello from Sacramento. Nice. Hopefully the weather's nice there. It is like raining cats and dogs here today. Hey, Lorene. Good to see you. So a lot of times when people are really interested in intuitive development, I think the third eye and the crown chakras are the ones that we get the most excited about, because they're really associated with our intuition and our divine connection, and we'll talk more about that today. And so the third eye, again, often is called the 6th chakra. It's in the middle of your forehead, and the color associated with it is indigo, which is like a purplish blue. And if it had a mantra, it would say, I am intuitive. And so the key function of the third eye is really your intuition and knowledge and deep insight. Hey, Miranda. Hey, Claire. Lovely to see you too. And so this chakra really is associated with your mind, your ideas, your thoughts, your intuition, your psychic abilities. And so it's responsible for how you perceive yourself and how you perceive the world. And so that is super powerful, because our perception of ourselves and our world are everything. And so we want to be able to have that be as positive of an experience as possible. And so this chakra is responsible for the link between your mind and the outer world. So it really helps you embody both your inner and your outer worlds at the same time, which is pretty powerful. Hey, Joe, thanks for joining. So balancing and opening your third eye chakra really promotes clarity and inspiration and the ability to focus. And it helps you follow your dreams, and it enhances your intuition. I really like to think about the third eye chakra as really the ability to see the truth when we're thinking about our intuition. And so it really enhances your spiritual connections that you have. And so it can really help you get that sense of being guided in your life and really in flow. And it can just really help open up different doors of possibility for you when you're in tune with that inflow or guided feeling, that you're able to really tune into where these doors are opening for you and pay attention and take action on those. And what else I think is really cool about the third eye chakra is when it's really open and healthy, it actually has both hemispheres of your brain functioning in synchronicity. How cool is that? Kathleen, I'm glad you could stop in. You can always check the replay. Nice to see you. So in our training, I have shared with you that when we talk about a chakra being unbalanced, that can mean a couple different things. They can either be overactive or underactive. And so an underactive chakra typically means that there's not enough energy flowing through that energy center. So in some sense, it's like closed or blocked in some way. And so it's not distributing the flow of energy in an even way through your energy body. And then when it's over functioning, it's kind of the opposite. It is distributing too much energy. It's really kind of working on overdrive. A lot of times that happens when chakras around it are under functioning. So then it kind of picks up the bulk of the work, so to speak, trying to process energy. So if you have a third eye that is unbalanced, some of those symptoms can be that you might feel really overwhelmed and bombarded by your thoughts, unable to really process them, and might feel really stuck in an intellectual or an emotional rut. You may feel like you've lost your sense of intuition, and that can lead you to feeling like you're making poor decisions for yourself in your life because you have that disconnect feeling. If you have a blocked third eye, you might feel out of touch for new ideas coming into your life, but you might also feel really out of touch of what your purpose is for your life. And I think we all know how frustrating that can feel when we feel out of touch with that. And yes, Joe, mega third eye headaches. Yes, we are going to talk about that. Third eye can definitely be a source of headaches for a variety of different reasons. So if we have blocks in our third eye, we can definitely experience headaches and migraines, but we also can experience those as our intuition develops as well. So we'll chat a little bit more about that. But yes, for sure, headaches. Hey, Lori, I'm glad you could join too. So a lot of times if our third eye is really out of balance, we might also spend a majority of our day daydreaming and not really living in reality as well. And you might find yourself unable to really make a deeper connection with the underlying things in life. And so common psychological or mental issues of an unbalanced third eye might include things like nightmares, neurological disorders, personality disorders, learning difficulties. You might be really moody, or you might have issues with deep self-reflection. Common physical issues associated with an unbalanced third eye chakra includes headaches, migraines, eye problems. So again, most of the time, the physical issues that you're going to see associated with the different chakras are kind of in that area. So obviously your eyes and your brain are really close to where your third eye is. So you might have different vision issues like blurred vision, glaucoma, different things like that. You might have ear problems, hearing difficulties. You might also have different issues like with maybe your scalp or hair issues as well, are often associated with the third eye as well. And it can get more severe than that with issues like tumors, strokes, blindness, deafness, learning disabilities, seizures. Those types of things can be associated with the third eye too. And as mentioned in some of the other trainings as well, all of our chakras, our main chakras, are associated with different glands in our system as well. And so the third eye is connected to our pineal gland. And so you can find different meditations or even different diets and things that you can do to clear your pineal gland, which then can enhance your intuition as well. It's fascinating how the physical and the energy and spiritual is all connected. So as as I mentioned before, a lot of people, when they think about the third eye, they're really thinking about intuition. And so the third eye is specifically associated with clairvoyance, which is clear seeing. And so people will often experience third eye headaches when these chakras really start to open up. And so when people are starting to do more intuitive work or kind of break through a different level, oftentimes they'll experience what's called a third eye headache. It's I like to just think of it as like, imagine that you had too much screen time, or you spent too much time reading, maybe in a room that didn't have very good light, and you get eye strain. It's basically like eye strain for your third eye. It's just kind of like stretching and opening. And so we'll talk about that a little bit more when we talk about the crown, because people also get crown headaches, and we'll talk a little bit about what you can do if you've been experiencing some of that as well, because it can be frustrating as you're trying to do your intuitive work if you end up getting a pretty sharp headache each time. So each chakra, there's different crystals and essential oils and different things that you can use to work in partnership with healing these chakras. And so crystals that I like to use for the third eye are lapis lazuli and fluorite are a couple of my favorites. You can also use tanzanite and azurite as well, are good ones. And essential oils are rosemary and clary sage are really good ones for the third eye. So let's talk a bit about the crown chakra then too. So the crown chakra is on the top of your head, and it's often called your seventh chakra. And so this one oftentimes will show up as violet for others, but I often see it also as almost like an iridescent, like rainbow as well. So usually kind of purple or rainbow is how this one will show up. Again, it's on the top of your head, hence the name the crown. And if it had a mantra, it would say, "I am divine." Lauren, I see you say, "I see why I can't go to the intense congestion." Yes. Yeah. So a lot of like sinus and intense congestion was associated with your third eye for sure. So the seventh chakra, or your crown chakra, is really your connection to source. This is also the gateway to your higher chakras, which usually aren't talked about a whole lot. So, we've talked through chakras 1 through 7, which are the chakras that are most well known. But you have chakras that are more like your divine gateway up to creator, that are 8 through 12. And I'm sure we'll probably talk about those at a later time. But this is your gateway to those upper chakras. And so this chakra is really associated with spirituality, divine wisdom, enlightenment, your connection to the universe. And so this gives you that trust and faith in life, gives you that inspiration. Devotion is associated with this chakra. Lauren, you're saying, oh my God, your ears have been popping like there's no tomorrow. It's odd because you can breathe, but you're so blocked. Oh yeah. Hopefully you can do a little energy clearing of your third eye, and hopefully that'll open your ears up a little bit. Like, your ears have their own chakras, but they're like considered more of a minor chakra, and so they're connected to your third eye. It's almost like what are those called, like your eustachian tubes, that are connected between like your sinuses and your ears. So it's almost like there's an energy channel that goes between your third eye and your ears as well. Joe, you say the magician's top hat. I love it. Darlene! Oh my gosh. I haven't talked to you forever, Darlene. I miss you. Good to see you. So with the crown, this also is a chakra of optimism. So if you feel like you're missing an optimistic point of view in life, you might want to look at your crown chakra as well, and can really just help you bring more joy into your life, because there's so much joy with the feeling of and knowing of being connected. So the crown chakra really can give you a sense of knowing that there's a deeper meaning to life, and trusting it and knowing part of what that is for you as well. And so balancing and opening your crown chakra is really essential for you to be able to have a deeper spiritual connection with yourself and the universe, and a greater power. And an open crown chakra also helps you live in the moment, which I think it's really fascinating that that it's really like our root chakra, our first chakra and our crown chakra are really associated with being able to live in the moment. And because the crown chakra is one of the main entry points of energy going into your body, and then of course your root chakra is one of the main exit points of energy running through your body. And so being able to make sure that both of these as key entry and exit points of your body help us really stay in the moment. And of course, if this is one of our main entry points of energy into our body, imagine how that impacts the rest of your chakras if you're having quite a bit of blockage there and not having a lot of energy coming in. That's where it really can lead to really chronic fatigue that has no other reason why it's there. It can lead to depression. A lot of those different things are associated with more of a blocked crown chakra. And so again, the crown chakra can be under functioning or over functioning. They both can cause different issues. I think a lot of times we like to think that we want to have all of our chakras just blasted open all the time. And actually something that I see quite frequently with intuitive folks when I'm doing energy healings with them is that they'll actually have like super open crowns and third eyes, but their lower chakras are like really almost closed off. So if you can imagine having all this intense energy coming in and then having no place for it to go and to be processed in a physical way, you can imagine kind of like the confusion or overwhelm that could come with that. So a lot of times when people have just really, really intense thoughts that they can't slow down, a lot of times that's one of the causes of it. So think about that if that's something that you've personally experienced. So sometimes having these chakras blasted open as high as we can get them isn't always a good thing if the rest of your energy body isn't in harmony and aligned and in balance with how open those chakras are. So, common psychological or mental issues that are associated with the crown chakra are depression, as I mentioned before, confusion, difficulty analyzing, a feeling of loss of faith, feeling mentally disconnected, and on a more severe side, schizophrenia is actually associated with issues with the crown chakra as well. So some more common physical issues that are associated with an unbalanced crown chakra include light and sound sensitivity, headaches and migraines again, dementia, epilepsy, autoimmune disorders, neurological disorders, and again, like I mentioned, the chronic exhaustion where it's really not connected to any other physical issue is often associated with the crown chakra as well. And like I mentioned about the glands being associated to different chakras, your crown chakra is connected to your pituitary gland. And so when we think of our intuitive side, the crown chakra is associated with claircognizance, and claircognizance means clear knowing. And so that's when you just know something. You don't necessarily feel anything about it, hear anything about it, see anything. You just know something. You don't know where it came from. A lot of times we actually really question where it comes from because it just feels like part of our thoughts. And so that's definitely a crown chakra intuitive sense. A lot of times people that have really open crown chakras and are very claircognizant also receive what are called downloads. So having this a lot of times downloads, people can experience them in different ways, and feel free if you get downloads, throw how you experience them in the chat. But a lot of times what people will experience with that is a lot of times it just kind of feels like their crown chakra is like blown open and they just feel all this energy just almost running through their body. When I experience downloads, it's usually when I'm trying to sleep, and it feels like my crown chakra is blown open, and then it almost feels like I can just feel the energy just running through my body. It almost feels like I've had a lot of caffeine, but I haven't, is how it feels for me. And basically the downloads are just intuitive information that you're receiving. When you get the download, you usually have no idea what you're receiving, but you're just able to pull it out later with that claircognizance. So crown headaches are a real big thing too when you are expanding your intuitive senses as well. And so the third eye, a lot of times you're going to feel that pressure behind your eyes or right in your forehead. A lot of times with the crown chakra, it almost feels like someone's like squeezing your head, like kind of all the way around. So let me know if you've had that experience before. But I used to get a lot of crown headaches. And so that will happen a lot with some intuitive work that you do, because the energy frequencies are sometimes a lot higher than what we are used to seeing. So most of you know I teach other people to access the Akashic Records. I have a certification program on that. And as people are starting to access the Akashic Records, usually a big chunk of the class gets a headache that first day, whether it's in their third eye or the crown, but the crown is even more common with the Akashic Records, because the energy frequency of the Akashic Records is so high. Spending any amount of time in there when you're not used to doing that can cause a strain physically on you from really opening up those senses. So if you do experience third eye or crown headaches when you're doing intuitive work, the first thing that I would suggest is, when you're doing that work, really just do it short bursts at a time. So instead of thinking like, I'm going to do a half-hour reading or an hour reading or something like that, do 5 minutes. It basically is almost like stretching a muscle, where like if I don't even work out for like a couple weeks, if I do like squats or lunges or something, you know how your muscles are kill you and it feels like you hardly can get up and out of a chair or sit back down. It's kind of the same with your third eye and your crown. Darlene, you say that explains a lot. Yeah. And so it's just kind of like stretching out this muscle, and you have to keep using it for it to be used to the different energy frequencies that you're utilizing. The other thing that I see is people really work on trying to expand those energy centers so much, because they feel like, kind of like I said before, it's like, well, the more open my third eye and crown is, the more psychic I'm going to be. Sometimes if the rest of your body isn't ready for that, you might be getting more energy, but it might just feel overwhelming, and you might not actually really be able to translate it into anything that makes sense. And then it might just feel overwhelming, or you might get a headache or something like that. And so always work on opening up your entire energy body instead of just certain energy centers. You can also do some work to like set the intention to close your third eye and crown back down after you do intuitive work, so they don't just stay blasted open, is another thing that you can do if you experience those headaches. And then the last thing that I would suggest is, I think most of you have a different grounding practice. I've shared some meditations with you. Always ground after you do intuitive work, and set the intention that you're sending any excess energy, even if it's good energy, that you're sending any excess energy that you don't need back down into the earth. Because sometimes when you have that excessive high vibration energy, that can cause that headache too. So hopefully that will help you all if you've experienced third eye or crown headaches. I find that that's helped me and my students quite a bit. If you are working on wanting to balance your crown chakra more, there of course are crystals and essential oils that you can use as well. Some different crystals that I like to use are apophyllite or Herkimer diamonds. You often actually see me wearing Herkimer diamonds. It's not a diamond. It's just basically a high quality quartz is what it is. But I just love the feeling of the Herkimer. Selenite, white howlite, really most quartz or amethyst are good for your crown chakra as well. And then myrrh, violet, and frankincense. I love frankincense. I could smell that all day. That's really great for opening up your crown as well. So hopefully this gives you some good information on the third eye and the crown, and helps you, get a feeling of, am I in balance? Am I not in balance? Are these some areas that maybe I have a little bit of healing and some work that I can do on? Joe, you say you have a Herkimer, and they're usually double pointed. Yeah, I have some that aren't in jewelry, and this one does kind of have a couple points to it. It's not like pointy, but yeah, it's one of my favorites. It's hard for me to take off. It has great energy. Oh, hey, Susie. Good to see you. So next up, in a couple weeks from now, on November 23rd, I will have a healing meditation with you. We'll bring the angels in to do some healing, both on your third eye and your crown chakras. Whether however they're out of balance, whether they're over functioning or under functioning, we'll be able to get those into harmony for you, and into harmony with the rest of your energy body too. So, if you have been enjoying these free trainings and meditations, I would ask that you invite your friends to the group and let them join the fun. Oh, you're welcome, Joe. I'm glad it was helpful. Well, until we meet again in a couple weeks for our meditation, I will see you in the group. Lots of love to you all. Bye.